Hello and welcome back to the Outside the Ropes. I am your host of Outside the Ropes, as always, Matthew Moore. Welcome back to the program after a week's absence, after a, well, should we say, stressful, crazy, wanting to scream week last week, where we sat down to record last week's podcast. We set up the microphone, set up the equipment, put the earphones on, ready to push the record button, and the machine wouldn't work. It broke down on us after what? How many years have we been using that radio equipment? Oh my god, I've lost count now. But it broke down. But guess what? We've got new equipment. We're back. That's right. We're back. We're here. Hope you can hear us loud and clear. His equipment better be working or I'll cry. But yes, we're back for another week of Outside the Ropes. Hope you're all doing really well out there. It's been a funny old week in wrestling this week, hasn't it, guys? But we're here to talk about the latest news and ongoings in the world of WWE, and we've got some independent stories for you tonight as well. But before we get into this week's program, I just want to give a shout out to our friends and partners of this show. Guys, if you're a historian of professional wrestling like myself and most people who listen to this podcast, Wrestling's Past is the location to head to right now for all the history of professional wrestling and all the, how can we put it, all the great stories from the past, from the WWF, the WWF, WWE, ECW, WCW, NWA, and much, much more. Wrestling's Past is the location. Go to their website, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and also on Twitter for their daily tweets of the history of wrestling at Wrestling's Past. So that's for all you historians of wrestling, just like me. Go to wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk. Guys, let's get straight into it this week. Wow, what can I say? We've got a lot to talk about WWE this week. Let's talk about Raw. Well, where should we start about Raw? We've got some news about Raw's behind the scenes, and we've got some news we'll talk about this past week's Raw. Guys, what did you think of last Monday's Raw? Me personally, it's the first time in a long time I got up 1 hour into the broadcast, looked at the person I was watching Raw with, and just put my hands up and went, done, and walked, turned the television off, switched it off, and went to bed. That's right, Raw this week for me, well, for the first hour at least, it bored me. Having the WWE Champion in the ring with those morons, the New Day, everybody's saying that have been bombarding me on Twitter and torturing me, saying that I bash and the show bashes the New Day a lot. The New Day, I've already spoke about the New Day on the show before, but the show started with the New Day and Sheamus. Oh, seriously? Do I really have to talk about this on my segment of Raw last week? I didn't like it at all. I don't know what you guys thought of it, but a lot of you did tweet us and stuff and say you didn't like it. Oh, the opening segment of Raw, I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, let's get into it. Coming out of Raw, out of all this with Sheamus, the New Day, and there was a thing going on where Roman Reigns got his title shot. He had to beat Sheamus in, say, 5 minutes and 15 seconds, which he did by disqualification. And if he didn't, then also Dean Ambrose would lose his title shot against Kevin Owens at the pay-per-view coming up next Sunday night. To come out of it all, there's now a new faction called the League of Nations, which consists of WWE Champion Sheamus, King of the Ring Wade Barrett, United States Champion Alberto Del Rio, and also Rusev. Now, where does this whole Mex America thing come in? I think he actually said it last week. He was closing Mex America down, Alberto. But we've got this new faction, guys, called. I don't understand it. Is it a good faction? The League of Nations? Is it a bad faction? We want to hear what you guys think about it. But overall, the faction, it's good to see a faction. Obviously, we have the New Day, but it's good to see a big faction now forming in the company. Is it going to last long? I don't know. Are WWE going to just bury it? I don't know. Are they going to use it and go far with it? Because they are all great talent. Apart from Sheamus dancing in the ring like an absolute tool. But we have a new faction. I hope they do it and they book the faction right on television and don't do stupid angles with it. But we've got this new faction, the League of Nations. Guys, let us hear what you think coming out of Raw last Monday. what you thought of this new faction. We also had a great segment on Raw this week where we had the Dudley Boys confronting the Wyatts with tables with the names on it of each individual family member. And the also Dudley Boys brought back an old friend this week on Raw to help them stand up to the Wyatt family. And we actually all thought it was going to be Spike Dudley because they mentioned it was going to be family, but it wasn't. It was former ECW star Tommy Dreamer. Now, it was great to see Tommy back, making an appearance. Is he going to be on television more often? Probably not, but it'd be good to see if he was for a while. But are they going to start bringing back some more ECW members to help him face the Wyatt family? We don't know, but we're going to keep an eye on it, obviously, over the next few weeks leading into the TLC event. More like it's going to be a tables match coming up against the Wyatt family at the pay-per-view. But we'll keep an eye on it anyway. But overall, guys, this week's Raw, I didn't enjoy it, to be honest with you. That's my opinion on it, guys. I'm just being honest with you. Now, speaking of Raw, stories are coming out all over the internet in the last sort of 24, 48 hours about scenes that are going on behind the scenes in WWE regarding their television product. Now, you all know, guys, people who've been listening to this show for a long time, I talked about it on this show with our former co-host Tommy and also Tony and former guests and wrestlers that we've had on this show before about the current WWE product being PG. Now, we could talk about this all night, guys. I've talked about it 100 times on this show, but now it's coming out that apparently the USA Network are not happy with current WWE television. And there's a rumour going round, now whether this is a rumour or not is true, but this is a big story coming out, that apparently the USA Network are now asking WWE to go more edgy on their television. Now, this is a good argument that I would like to talk about maybe with the guest on the show, but I watched an interview recently, as in the last day, with Vince Russo, where he said he's been speaking to people within WWE, and they said that the USA Network are not happy with current WWE television. Now, with being being PG, they were given a lot of comparisons back to 1998-99, where some of the programs were put out on Raw where they had more edgy TV, but it was still ranked as PG. I know PG television nowadays is completely different to PG TV back then, but they're talking about this now not being happy with the current product being, for example, they're saying when Raw's on 9 to 11 on USA Network on a Monday night, they also do other programs on a Monday night between 9 and 11 that are more edgy and more content, but then WWE are coming back and saying, but then we're going to lose sponsors. But then USA is coming back and saying, well, hold on, programs like Walking Dead have major sponsors and they're still doing damn good on television. Their ratings is extremely high compared to you being on our network for all these years, and now your ratings are dropping every week because your television product is now starting to decrease with ratings. The WWE are trying to respond back to this with the whole sponsorship, PG, television, stuff like that. Are the USA Network not happy with WWE television? Are they considering maybe removing them from the USA Network altogether? Is this a story that has just been made up and put on the internet? But for what I've been reading and for what I've been hearing and what I've been told over the last maybe last 12 hours before the show was recorded today, that apparently the USA Network are not happy with current WWE television. Now, I've mentioned this on this show many a time before to the fans who listen to this show, to, as I said to you, guests, wrestlers, fans, you name it. The current WWE product, in my eyes, well, it was actually getting quite good there for a while. But people are starting to get bored with it. It's always the same thing week in, week out. It's getting too predictable and it's getting very boring. Guys, I've been watching WWE for a long, long, long time. I've been through the eras of, the 80s, then the early 90s with the gimmicks. Then we had the New Generation. Then we had the Attitude Era. Then we had the Ruthless Aggression Era. Now we've got the PG Era. All these different eras you've been through. I know times change and things need to change with the times. But a lot of wrestling fans feel insulted when they've been watching WWE a long time. I watch some of the WWE stuff right now and I sort of cringe. I mean, guys, as I said to you, I get up on Monday night and I walked away from Raw, which I normally never do. I never do it, you know. But is USA Network unhappy? I'm definitely, myself personally, everybody in the show, me personally, I want to keep an eye on this story because I'm really intrigued. You know, a lot of people have been saying for a long time they need to do more TV. People are saying, but it's all for children now, it's all for kids. You know, at the end of the day, guys, there were still kids in the audience during the Attitude Era. That's just my opinion. But again, we're going to keep an eye on that story because it is a big story coming out of WWE this week. Well, there you go. Let's keep an eye on it anyway for you guys. But in closing for Raw this week, I didn't like it. I thought it wasn't a great show at all. I want to hear you guys what you think about it coming out of it. This new faction coming out of it, you know, it's sad to see, really, and I hope things do pick up over the next few weeks. I know we're missing some big stars at the moment with the likes of Rollins and Cena and Orton, but let's see how it goes over the next few weeks anyway. Other news away from WWE, guys. I'm sure you probably heard it in the press in the last week or so. Kurt Angle was here in the UK, and he's made an announcement that the tour he is going on, is it January TNA's coming to the UK? This will be his retirement tour, and apparently Kurt Angle is considering retiring from professional wrestling. Now, he did talk about it in his interviews recently, saying that this is definitely his last time in the UK. He's going to be retiring. We did put the story up on our Facebook and Twitter over the last few days and let his fans talk about it, which a lot of you did get in touch with us. Some Kurt Angle fans quite disappointed to hear that he might not do that last run in WWE before he decides to finally hang up the boots. But a lot of people have also been saying, is this a ploy for Kurt to get out of his contract to go back to WWE? Because we all hear that Paul Levesque, Triple H, is interested in bringing Kurt Angle back for one last maybe WrestleMania match before he decides to hang up the boots and retire from professional wrestling altogether. Kurt Angle's had a fantastic career. He actually said in his interview that he's had more fun in TNA than what he has in WWE. I don't understand why, considering the opponents that he faced when he was in the WWF back in the day. You know, the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock, The Undertaker, Kane, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. You know, just the list goes on and on. Don't get me wrong, he's had some big opponents in TNA, the likes of Sting, Samoa Joe. I mean, some great rivalries he's had in TNA. Multiple time world champion in TNA, tag team champion, the X Division champion. At one point, he had every title in the company at one point. But Kurt's had a fantastic career. I think he's currently 13-time world champion, as far as I remember. My stats are correct. Maybe not, but he has announced that he is retiring from the ring. We do know he signed an agreement with Bellator recently as well, the MMA promotion. What's in the future for Kurt Angle? We'll have to keep an eye on that. But Kurt's had a fantastic career since he first debuted on our screens as he was in ECW as a guest. But his first wrestling match was at Survivor Series 1999 against Shawn Stasiak on pay-per-view. But it was the Survivor Series. It was so long ago. 16 years ago, actually, to be precise. But Kurt's had a great in-ring professional wrestling career. He's also an Olympian, as you all know. Olympic gold medalist from Atlanta in 1996. But, you know, is Kurt finally going to step out of the ring? Only time will tell, but this is his last retirement. He's calling it his retirement tour when the TNA come to the UK in January, so there you go. We'll keep an eye on it again, guys. We'll keep any more development on that. We'll bring it to you here on Outside the Ropes. Also, last week we heard the news that Brad Maddox was fired from WWE. He's all probably heard about this story, but I thought I'd bring it up anyway because we didn't do a show last week. But Brad Maddox was fired from WWE because of bad language he used on a taping of Superstars, for what I was reading. He used not very good, colourful. He used colourful language to the audience, which WWE officials heard and weren't happy with. And Brad Maddox was fired on the eve of Thanksgiving last Wednesday. So Brad Maddox is gone from WWE, but he is taking independent bookings, and he is now going under the name of Mad Braddox. Okay, but he has got some independent bookings coming up soon. Maybe we'll even see Brad Maddox appear on TNA television. Maybe, you never know. But he has been released from WWE as of last week. We did talk about a few weeks ago, guys. We talked about people getting married. We've also had another marriage. Santino Marella got married this past week. Big congratulations go out to Santino. He was married to his beautiful bride. We saw on his Twitter account. His gym his MMA stroke wrestling stroke gym, whatever you want to call it, is doing really well as well. So Santino, and we also hear he's still on the return, hopefully one day to get back into the ring after he retired from the ring not so long ago. So big congratulations to Santino Marella, who got married this past week too. Other news from around the internet, I'm sure you've all heard this as well. Mick Foley criticising the current WWE product. Now, I know we should have talked about this when we were talking about the whole thing with the ratings being down on the USA Network and stuff, but Mick Foley has been very vocal on social media this week about the overall product of WWE, but he has come out and said that he enjoyed last week's Raw. Mick, I think you've had too many chair shots to the head, buddy. But Mick Foley has come out and said that he's been very vocal about the current product in WWE and says that they need to make a big change. So, Mick Foley has been very vocal, so it's always good to hear what Mick Foley has to say, because I have attended his show recently in Belfast, his stand-up gig, so yeah, it's good to hear about from Mick Foley. And speaking of Mick Foley, rumours go around today that Mick Foley's son, Dewey, has now apparently started working with WWE Creative. What age would Dewey be now? His early 20s maybe? But they're saying that Mick Foley's son is now going to be working for WWE in the Creative. Oh, what is going on? Seriously? Unreal. But we'll keep an eye on that wee story also once that develops as well. Apparently starting over the new year as well, so we'll keep an eye on that wee story for you too, guys. Scott Hall has apparently been reported to be injured this past week in the gym. Scott Hall's trying to get himself into some type of shape for his upcoming appearances. We all know the WWE Hall of Famer was at WrestleMania this year. He was apparently been rumoured to be trying to do some work with WWE talent. But we hear that Scott got injured this past week in the gym. So, but there was a recent photograph posted with Scott on Twitter just before he picked up his injury, and Scott is looking great again. He's looking quite slick. He's losing the weight again. He's looking quite good. But we do hope Scott gets a quick, speedy recovery and gets back into shape soon. For all you AJ Styles fans out there, AJ Styles has been reported to be injured again with a back injury. He is due to be fighting on the upcoming Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view event. But there's rumours now going around that he might not make it because of this recent back injury he picked up recently in an independent match. Now, we've been reading today that apparently this injury is in his lower back, which was giving him problems in the past. But AJ Styles is currently now out of action with a lower back injury. Other rumours flying around the internet over the last week or so, but has obviously been put to bed now. Good old JR has been rumoured to be maybe joining the TNA announce team, or maybe even calling Ring of Honor's Final Battle pay-per-view coming up very, very soon. JR has took to social media over the last few days to obviously talk about this with fans and said he is no longer interested in joining TNA and he will not be appearing at Ring of Honor's pay-per-view. But whether we take this seriously or not with JR is another thing. But he sent out a great photograph, which we shared on Facebook the other day, of him with Jerry the King Lawler at the WWE 2K studios whenever they done the recording for the WWE 2K16 game, which was Jerry Lawler's birthday the other day, by the way. And he was saying happy birthday to him and sent out a great picture of the two of them together as they were reunited at the 2K studios. But JR has made it clear that he is not going to be appearing at Ring of Honor and also not interested in joining TNA Wrestling. So good old JR has set the record straight. Now, moving on, guys, we've got some of your emails and tweets I want to answer quickly before I give a wee shout out to some of our friends of the show again. Had a wee email in there today from Adam, who is a very frustrated WWE fan. He talks about the thing that we were talking about earlier on the podcast, about the frustrations he has. He is kind of glad, he says, here to see the other talents being pushed to the top. For example, like the likes of Wade Barrett, Alberto Del Rio, and Rusev. But he is very frustrated with the overall kiddie atmosphere on the WWE product, and he hopes things change very, very soon. We also had a wee email in here today. Let's have a look here and see. From Julie. Hello, Julie. She's from Scotland. Hi, Julie. Hope you're doing really well. Thanks for sending us a wee email in. She says that the Divas division has quietened down in the last few weeks and she hopes that it picks up very, very soon. She's looking forward to the NXT tour coming up in the UK, especially the live special on the WWE Network coming up, where she's hoping to see some title changes, and she's looking forward to also seeing Bayley appear on the main roster in the near future. Thanks very much for your email, Julie. Thank you very, very much for that there. We've got another email in here from Alan from Birmingham. Hi, Alan. Thanks very much for your email. He talks about the NXT product. He wants to know our thoughts on the current NXT tour coming up in the UK. A lot of people are asking us about this here in Austin, so we are actually attending it. There is still some tickets available for some of the shows, guys, coming up for the NXT. But to answer Alan's question, I'm really looking forward to it. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to the live special on the network in the next few weeks. It's going to be an interesting show. I'm hoping for some great matches. We'll also hear, sorry, I forgot to mention as well, guys, that WWE have announced that Sami Zayn will be on that tour. He will be appearing at the live special on the WWE Network. It's great to see Sami Zayn back on the NXT television. But thanks very much for your email. I do appreciate that. Had another email in here today from, let's have a look, I've got a couple here to go through. Robert has sent us an email all the way from, where's he from? Oh, from Rome. Hello, Robert from Rome. How are you? Or is it Roberto, should I call you? Sorry for my sarcasm. It's been a long week. Trust me, the week's only halfway through. But he's put it in Italian and he's also put it in English. So thank you very much. Don't have to go to Google Translate. He wants to know our thoughts on international stars becoming WWE champion. Okay, well, we've had Sheamus as WWE champion. He's the current champion. He also asked here, will there ever be a British world champion or even an Italian world champion? Okay, well, we do have Wade Barrett there, who, in my opinion, could be a champion someday, and I hope he possibly could be. We also had William Regal in the past. We've had Finlay in there as well. I think both of them should have been world champion, but obviously they weren't. Italian world champion, we did have Santino there for a while, but obviously he's now gone. But European stars as champions, we've had Alberto was from Mexico, sorry, what am I talking about? We've had Sheamus as the first Irish-born WWE champion. We've never had a Scottish world champion, so it happens. Or a Welsh, or a German, or I don't know. But Wade Barrett, I would say, would probably be the guy to be the first British world champion. But you never know with WWE. But thanks for your email anyway. Thanks for listening to the show, and hope we keep listening to us every single week. So there you go. That's a couple of emails, guys, this week. Thank you very much for sending all your emails. You can keep sending them to us at outsidetheropes@yahoo.com. You can keep talking to us on Twitter at outsidetherope. And also, big guys, thank you very much for sending us personal tweets. I sent out a wee message on my own Twitter the other day. My young fella who has his collection of wrestling belts that I've been collecting for him for even before he was born, because I always wanted to have a son, so I started collecting the wrestling belts for my child's room, and I sent it a wee photograph the other day. He has 22 wrestling belts. That includes WWF and WWE, and also 2 ECW titles as well. But I sent in a photograph the other day, and a lot of these guys have been really kind and sent me back a couple of nice emails and tweets and stuff about it, saying that they love the belts. So if you haven't checked it out, you can do it. We sent it out on Twitter. But thanks very much, guys, for all the kind comments. Do appreciate that. But yeah, guys, I want to give a wee shout out to our friends at Pro Wrestling Ulster tonight. They have a big show coming up involving former WWE and TNA star Al Snow, where he is looking to get back the PW title on the 13th of December in the Europa Hotel as he takes on PW champion Tron. Now, if you live in Ireland, guys, you want to attend this show, I think there is still tickets available. For all the information, go to their website, prowrestlingulster.co.uk. That's involved former WWE star Al Snow. He has put an interesting video which was shared on Facebook, saying he's coming back to Belfast to try and take the title back from Tron. So it's Pro Wrestling Ulster. Don't forget to check them out, guys. If you're one for a good night of professional wrestling, don't forget to check them out. Also, our good friends at Wrestling.ie have got some great shows lined up around the Christmas period. So if you want to check out Wrestling.ie for more information on how to get tickets through Ticketmaster for all their upcoming shows across Ireland, here North and South, for their shows coming up. Over the Top Wrestling had their big show last week in Dublin, where they had current NXT star from WWE Rhino appearing. They had a great raucous crowd there in Dublin. They've got another show coming up in early January. Check out their website and also their Facebook, Over the Top Wrestling. I want to give a shout out to our friends as well from last week, British Wrestling Radio, involving Dino and Nixie and all the guys at British Wrestling Radio. You can check them out on our Twitter and also on our Facebook. They are there, guys, British Wrestling Radio, for all your news and their British wrestling scene. They are the guys to go because they know their stuff on the British wrestling scene. So I want to give a shout out to those guys as well. BWRradio.com, I think it is still their website, at BWR Radio on Twitter. Guys, one final thing, don't forget to check out our good buddies again at Wrestling's Past for all the history of professional wrestling. wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk and on Twitter at Wrestling's Past. Guys, I'm going to hit the road. It's a short and sweet episode tonight. Don't forget to tune in tonight, whether you're going to be watching NXT, which I'm going to be watching, or you could be watching TNA tonight. We had some great responses about TNA from you guys over the last week about TNA moving to Pop TV. Interesting. But I'm going to hit the road, guys, because it's been a bit late one for me today. I've been a long, crazy old week, but we're back on. We've got recording equipment. Yes, we're back here soon. So, yes, keep your emails coming to us, guys. We do appreciate everything you can obviously add to this show with your emails, your comments, and stuff like that. I'm going to head on and enjoy the rest of my week, guys. So, until next Wednesday, stay tuned to our social media feeds for all the news and scoops of professional wrestling. So, I'm your host of Outside the Ropes, as always, Matthew. I will see you back here next Wednesday, same time, same place, for another edition of Outside the Ropes.